Jesse Bowler with Pleasant Plains Historic Society. I'm out here on our beautiful Clayville site today to give you a tour virtually. So if you were standing out here, you'd see everything that I'm seeing. So we're going to try to show it all to you. And you can sit at home and just enjoy, so you can schedule plans for later this summer at some point to come out and visit with us. Behind me's our cornerstone piece. The inn, it was built in 1824. In 2009, the Pleasant Plains Historic Society bought the inn back and brought it back to our society, and we called the site Clayville. From 2009 on, we've restored the facility. We've added the porches back on, as you can see. I'm not really good at these videos, so we're going to try to explain it all to you and keep my voice where you can hear it. But as we restored it, we've got it all set up as it was in 1824, as close as we can get it, according to all the pictures we have. We have the old kitchen, and we have it all set up like it was. We have the bedrooms upstairs, kind of set up like it was back in the day. We also have the rope beds. We're going to be able to continue our tour inside there. Other buildings we have on site, if we scroll over here, we got a log cabin that we erected in, I think, about 13 or 14. So with this log cabin, it was found on site. Sangamon State had purchased it in the 70s. I don't know the full story, but the history on it came up from Kentucky, and we've reassembled it here, and we set it up as our Clayville School. It's a really neat depiction of a log cabin of that era. And if you go over a little further, hopefully you can see the old barn that's there. In that, we have our Ag Museum, our workshop for working on the grounds, and other stuff we use. We got tools of the era in there. We're slowly getting a better display of that, but we have lots of old stuff in there. The blacksmith shop we have out here on the grounds was the last working blacksmith shop in Sangamon County. It was originally located in Springfield. Dr. Emmett Pearson in the 60s moved it out to the site where we have it today. Still fully operational. We also have a tinsmith that works out of here. So if you come out here while they're working, they usually have some coal burning and the full everything going with the blacksmith shop. I'm not one of the blacksmiths, but we have a lot of great guys that work with that. If you're interested in that, you're always welcome to contact us, and we'll get you in touch with our blacksmiths. They usually have an event out here every spring, and May 9th, I think, is when we have it scheduled for right now. But usually first week in May or so, we have a blacksmith event. The next building we have over here is what we call our wig building. There's a lot of stuff that goes on there, mainly our education program. We restored this building in about 13 to 15. We have some old stuff from Lincoln in there, era stuff, from surveying equipment of the time, to different ways to help the kids and do arts and crafts projects in a climate control building if we need. But it makes for a nice spot for our education program to work out of. The next thing over we have is the stage that was built by Dr. Pearson. Right now we don't use it as a stage, we just use it as storage for wood and stuff that we need to use to keep the grounds up. And if you come back, as we swing around, we have the Ag Museum, maybe a little better shot than we had before. It's a nice building. Always need to do upkeep, always need help out here, so if you're willing to help, let us know. Behind me here, next to the blacksmith shop, we have the Cunningham barn. It was moved here in the 60s. We have some photos of it where it was standing originally, and I've met some of the people that own the ground it was originally on. Dr. Pearson had it moved here and used it as the centerpiece of the gathering spaces for the general public and everything. We've done a lot of work to it over the years. We have an outside set up for concession stands. The inside set up really nice. We'll get a tour of that shortly for events and that. About 2 years ago, we added a pavilion on the back. You can kind of see the back of that a little bit. Right now we have a fundraiser going on to replace the floor in the barn. As it was built in the 60s, we do need to upgrade it every now and then. But off of that we have some other buildings. We'll go over and show you those now. Remember every story out here, and the written story is always better. So if we can make sure you can hear me. This has been called several different names. The name of the cabin, so let's just go with it's a cabin. They called it the Gum Cabin or many different things. We don't know its exact origin. Doc Pearson brought it out here in the 60s when he moved the other cabin. We know a lot more about it. It was a log cabin that was here. It is a regular log cabin. At some point they decided to side it with white siding to make it a little more energy efficient, so when the university was using it, it would be more useful. It wouldn't be as cold out there for them to use it and heat it in the winter. They did put bathrooms between the two so we could use them as part of our facilities around here. But that's this cabin, and it's all attached as one complex. So here in a second we'll move over to the other cabin and tell you more about it. So we're taking a look at the Batterton cabin. We know a lot about this cabin. Got my notes here on this one so we can be more accurate. With this cabin, the origins of it are the couple that was here moved to Virginia in 1772, or they moved around Kentucky in the 70s, and now we've got this cabin here. I'm still working with this. This cabin was built in 1818 before Illinois became a state. It could be, we don't know for sure, the oldest surviving structure in Sangamon County. That's what our sign says, so I'm going with it. The cabin was discovered in the interior of a home of Howard and Mary Wills in 1964 when their home was being demolished to make way for a new residence. Dr. Wills donated it to Clayville the same year, and Dr. Pearson had the cabin moved to this site. So we've had events with that family out here that we document them all the way back to the Battertons. They come out for family reunions. We have a working fireplace in it, and we do lots of demonstrations, and we have it set up so we can even do quaint personal events or private events out here. Have a meal on an 1818 cabin.
Good afternoon. It's kind of cool out there today. My name is Jane Bowler. I'm the events coordinator out here, and I do a lot of our social media. I started out doing photography about 8 years ago. Then I started doing some flyers and information on Clayville. My current project is to digitize the entire Dr. Pearson and Elizabeth Weir collection. You've heard us talk a little bit about Dr. Pearson. In 1960, Dr. Emmett Pearson and his wife Mary drove out. Somebody had told them about the old brick building. They drove out, looked at it. It was full of hay and grain. All of the fireplaces inside the inn had been bricked over and had wallpaper over them. We'll go over and take a look at the inn in a minute. We also talk about Elizabeth Weir. Elizabeth Weir was one of the interpreters of the site in 1972 to 1992 when Dr. Pearson had donated this to Sangamon State University. My family volunteers out here. I portray Jane Broadwell. Her son, John Broadwell, moved here in December of 1819 and spent his first winter here. In July of that year, my husband, Moses, and I, along with 9 of our children, joined John here. I actually had 12 children. 9 of them lived to adulthood, and 9 of them joined us here at Clayville. Right now we're inside the Batterton cabin. As Jesse told you outside, this is a period correct 1818 log cabin. If you can imagine this being 200 years old, the logs that are in this log cabin would have grown for 100 years before they could be cut down and hand hewn and built into this cabin. Inside the cabin you'll see some period correct furnishings. We do have a working fireplace and a lot of the cast iron cooking utensils. A lot of our utensils are blacksmiths make as far as forks and fireplace tools. We also have a bread bowl that we would have used here at the inn to make bread for our guests that come on the stagecoach. We have a very unique flower bin and kitchen cabinet here. It would have been quite modern to have in the early 1800s. We'll step across now and take a look at the inn.